This is so sad. Diddy begging the judge for one more chance like Faith Evans, and he might not get it. For all the people that want to see Diddy come home, now is the time to say your prayers, cause it's looking like he may never come home. Make sure y'all do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Without further ado, let's get into this video.
Tomorrow is sentencing day for Shawn Diddy Combs, and can you believe it, a line already forming at the federal courthouse to get in. Combs was acquitted of the most serious charges against him, but he was found guilty of 2 other prostitution-related counts.
Within the last hour, he submitted a letter to the court telling the judge he's made the best of his time behind bars by reading, working out, and undergoing therapy. Alice Gaynor covered the trial and will be there tomorrow. She has a preview now of how this all plays out and more on what Combs says in that letter.
In July, Shawn Diddy Combs dropped to his knees and prayed after he was acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy, which meant he was no longer facing life in prison. But the jury did convict him of 2 counts of transporting people for prostitution, finding he had paid sexual encounters with male sex workers and his girlfriends. Each count carries a sentence of up to 10 years behind bars, so he's facing up to 20 years. His defense team is asking for a sentence of 14 months, writing he has taken the time to achieve necessary rehabilitation from day one at the MDC, including getting clean of all substances. The defense also submitted letters of support, including one from a former girlfriend identified as victim 3. She did not testify at trial and asks the judge to release Combs to his family. Of meetings with prosecutors, quote, "I felt pressure to feel like a victim. I told them I was not, but they insisted that I was." Some fellow inmates wrote about the class Combs teaches there about life skills, entrepreneurship, and business management. "Mr. Combs has inspired me in this short period of time to better myself." Prosecutors are asking for a substantial sentence of just over 11 years, writing it's needed because Combs is unrepentant, that he largely conceded his conduct, the violence, domestic abuse, drug use, and distribution, and bribery. Former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, who testified at trial, submitted a victim impact letter that reads in part, quote, "My worries that Shawn Combs or his associates will come after me and my family is my reality." She says they moved, and she is, quote, "keeping as private and quiet as I possibly can because I am so scared that if he walks free, his first actions will be swift retribution towards me and others who spoke up about his abuse at trial." We spoke with attorney Rich Schoenstein, who is not involved in the case. Combs has no prior criminal history, and the U.S. Probation Department recommends a sentence range of 5 to 7 years.
I think that's probably the right range. I don't think he's going to get a short sentence like the defense wants, and I also don't think he's going to get the maximum. So I think that middle ground is where most people expect this to go, but we will see. It's up to the judge.
And sentencing tomorrow is at 10 a.m., and we do expect Combs to address the judge. Just a short time ago, he submitted a letter. It reads in part, quote, "I want to apologize and say how sincerely sorry I am for all of the hurt and pain that I have caused others by my conduct. I take full responsibility and accountability for my past wrongs." He also addresses assaulting Cassie Ventura, writing, quote, "I was dead wrong for putting my hands on the woman that I loved. I'm sorry for that and always will be. My domestic violence will always be a heavy burden that I will have to carry forever." He also talked about being a father to 7 children and wanting a second chance. He feels like he failed them by all of this happening, of course.
And so many of his family members were there during the trial showing their support for him. Who else do we know that will be speaking to address the judge tomorrow?
So Combs is expected to speak. We know that his legal team filed a submission that says at least 4 defense team members will also speak. And there's a 15-minute video they want to have played in court. We don't know what that video is. We don't know if it'll be allowed. As for the prosecution side, Cassie Ventura's attorney says she will not be speaking. A former employee who testified under a pseudonym will also address the judge for about 5 minutes.
All right, Alice, thank you. Alice will be...
He been on his best behavior. They claiming he a booty goon. He got people in jail that's willing to testify that he ain't never did nothing to nobody since he been behind bars. Now there's some dude out there claiming that he ain't had nobody to call. He was talking about he was gonna have to call the Ghostbusters because Diddy was after him and he didn't know what to do. He packed him a bag, he tried to get away, but Diddy was stalking him. They still telling these stories for that money. Let me be in the position to get 25 mil up out of Diddy and see the story I come up with to keep his black ass in jail. But the truth of the matter is, Diddy is a nice guy. He ain't never penetrated nobody. All he ever wanted was a bottle of Astro Glass so he could whack off and watch Cassie do her thing. But still, you got got people out there trying to sue him, and that's what's gonna keep him in jail for a long time, because them judges, they trying to get paid, the lawyers trying to get paid, and Diddy the only person with all the money, so they all trying to get paid. Cassie got paid, and this dude right here, y'all need to listen to him. He said he didn't know if he had to call the Ghostbusters or whatever just to get Diddy off of his back.
Due in court tomorrow to be sentenced for his felony convictions on prostitution-related charges. Our national correspondent, Jerika Duncan, spoke exclusively with a former employee who testified in the hip-hop mogul's criminal trial. Stylist Deontay Nash filed a lawsuit last week alleging Combs physically and sexually abused him for years, which Combs denies.
You say you were strangled on several occasions.
Several. Mm-hmm.
Was there ever a point where you thought, I could die?
The whole time. I said, he gonna kill us. He is going to kill us.
You talk in the lawsuit about literally having a to-go bag and cash just in case you had to go into hiding?
Mm-hmm. It has some underwear, some shorts, a tank top, a hoodie, and, you know, just some Vans.
And you
and
say this
just,
so casually, like this was normal behavior at that time.
Normal behavior, and it would be like, you know, very normal. This was normal, very normal behavior, and everybody pacified it. So who are we gonna tell? Like, who exactly were we gonna tell? Who are we gonna call? Ghostbusters? Like, there was no one there to save us.
He said he didn't know if he had to call the Ghostbusters on Diddy. There's got to be a better way, and he really can't be that bad. You figure his kids love him. If anybody want him to stay in jail, it will be one of his kids. They ain't got no story in a world where everybody's a victim. Diddy's mother straight. Rest in peace to Kim Porter. She probably was a victim. All them other chicks that came forward, they claiming that they was forced to come forward. Even though he paid Cassie to stay quiet, she was the main one running her mouth. Should he get a refund or could he get a refund? They won't let him get bail. It seemed like it's a bigger conspiracy than what the people believe. All we need, or all he need, is for Donald Trump to come down to the courthouse and shut all that down. As soon as Trump step in the building and walk out with Diddy, there ain't gonna be nothing else to talk about. I want to see him get back home to his kids, especially little baby Love. We all know she need her father. Diddy can't be that bad, but they talking about him like he a mass murderer and he ain't even got no bodies. This boy David had a girl in his trunk and he's still free. And Diddy in jail because some male escorts was freaking his girlfriend? Somebody make it make sense.
The judge in Shawn Diddy Combs' criminal case rejects his request to toss out his prostitution-related convictions. He now faces sentencing on the charges this Friday. Combs' attorneys tried to argue that the prosecution did not present enough factual evidence to prove Combs was transporting people for sex. But the judge denied the motion, saying that there was overwhelming testimony with Cassie Ventura and a woman identified as Jane. Combs' team has recommended 14 months of prison time, which would put him at home before Thanksgiving. He's served 13 months so far. The prosecution is seeking an 11-year sentence. Diddy was acquitted of the most serious of the charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, conspiracy in July. Those charges could have put him behind bars for life. Instead, the jurors found him guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Terry Austin joins us now, host and legal analyst. Thank you so much for being with us. So sentencing is Friday. What factors will the judge likely be considering in determining sentencing with such a discrepancy at the request of the defense and prosecution?
Well, that's an excellent question. He's going to look at everything, including the probation department's report. That's the PSR, the report where the probation department looks at the level of the crime. It looks at also whether or not there's a criminal history. And the judge is going to review that and determine what to do. Now, the probation department recommended 7 years and 3 months as the maximum, and as a minimum 5 years and 10 months. So I do think that Judge Subramanian would look at that very serious. Now, the prosecution, as you mentioned, they're looking at 11 years and 3 months, the defense 14 months. The judge is going to consider all of that and probably come where, if I had to guess, somewhere in the middle. I don't think he is going to do the maximum of 11 years, just based on the fact that this is the first offense that we've seen by Shawn Combs, his first conviction. But I do think he wants it to be a serious sentence. So I don't believe he's going to come out before Thanksgiving. So perhaps something like 3 to 5. And I'm also basing that on the bail argument. The judge took that very seriously and said that because of the violence, he did not think that Shawn Combs should be released from jail before sentencing.
I'm curious, Terry, what arguments is the defense making for a reduced sentence based on the crime?
What they're trying to say is, look, he has been a model sentence in the prison. He's been a prisoner who has not been violent. He hasn't broken any rules or laws. He's been teaching courses. He's had a business course. And they've submitted letters from various prisoners that said he has helped them and has made them better people. So I do think they're trying to say he's reformed and that what the prosecution is asking for is draconian and that he's already served time and that most people who are convicted under the Mann Act have not been this type of defendant, that he didn't participate, he wasn't directly involved, that he wasn't really sex trafficking people who were underage. So for all of those reasons, they're trying to argue that he is a slightly different defendant than most defendants who are convicted under the Mann Act.
All right, well, sentencing set for Friday. Terry Austin, thank you as always.
I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear this, but it's looking like Diddy gonna have to do some time. How much time, we don't know, but he may have to do some time. If they've been playing games this long, I don't think they're gonna stop playing games tomorrow. We gotta wait and see. It's gonna be sad to see him doing time for a crime that he didn't even commit. They're gonna do reverse documentaries about this. Bill Cosby might even have to come out and speak. We ain't really got no black activists no more. If Johnny Cochran was still alive, he wouldn't even be in this situation. All of the lawyers in the black community must not be worth a damn if Diddy couldn't hire one of them to get him off. Jay-Z couldn't even hire a black lawyer. Where is Johnny Cochran? They gonna have to dig him back up. Ain't nobody smoke his ashes. Call the outlaws. We gotta figure out what happened to Johnny Cochran. I feel bad for Diddy. They talking about how much time he gonna get. It's a possibility he gonna get a dime for seeing somebody smash Cassie's behind. I'm sick to my stomach. But then again, that's his problems. I don't want to make it my problems. But when he come home, please come on the Shawn Blazington show. I would love to do an interview with Diddy. That's my favorite actor, favorite mogul, favorite rapper, favorite fashion person. The hell with Dapper Dan. It's all about Diddy when he come home. But if he stay in jail, fuck him. I don't want nothing to do with Diddy if he guilty of the crimes that they say he committed, but we all know he not guilty. So I got love for Diddy. I'm confused about it, man.
In November 2023, Shawn Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie sued him, accusing him of abuse, including beatings and rape. The lawsuit was settled the next day under undisclosed terms. Combs denied the accusations. Later that month, 2 more women accused Combs of sexual abuse in lawsuits. Dozens more lawsuits from both men and women followed. Combs denied them all. Federal agents searched Combs' houses in March the next year. CNN released a video in May of 2024 showing Combs attacking then-girlfriend Cassie in a Los Angeles hotel. He apologized for the assault on social media. Combs is arrested in Manhattan that September. A federal indictment accused him of using his power to coerce women into sexual performances. Jury selection for the trial began in May of 2025. The trial began a week later, including testimony from Cassie and rapper Kid Cudi. The jury began deliberating at the end of June, and they convicted Combs of 2 counts of a prostitution-related offense, but acquitted him of the higher-level racketeering and sex trafficking charges. A judge will determine his sentence.
He was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, but was found not guilty on the other charges, including racketeering, which would have carried a max sentence of life in prison. Here to expand a little bit more on that verdict yesterday and what Diddy could be facing at his sentencing is 9 News legal expert Whitney Traylor back with us. Whitney, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, Whitney, as we just mentioned, Diddy was prosecuted convicted on those prostitution charges that carry a maximum of 20 years, 10 years each. How much time is he likely to serve, though?
Well, he's definitely not going to get the maximum. And there is the federal sentencing guidelines that the judge has to essentially comply with. And based on his criminal record, his criminal history, it's likely going to be maybe 2 to 3 years. I know the prosecution is asking for, I think, up to 61 months. The defense is suggesting maybe 2 years. And you have to consider he's also going to have his time served. So he's been incarcerated for 9-10 months. The sentencing hearing is going to be in October. So by the time that happens, it's going to be a year. And on these charges, remember, there's no minimum. So he could literally just get probation. Whereas on the racketeering, on the serious charges, which he was found not guilty, there was a minimum of 15 years. So this is, when you look at the big picture, it's a slap on the wrist.
I want to go back and ask you a question that we asked you yesterday. As far as California goes, could these be served concurrently? Do they have to be served consecutively?
Right, that's up to the judge, and the judge will look at a number of different factors. They'll take into account the victim statements, his criminal history, all of his community ties, things like that. And so I think most experts are saying, yes, we're looking. I even heard an expert this morning that said, I think it'll be probation. I don't think that, but I think it will be on the lighter end. So maybe 2 years is probably what a lot of people are suggesting.
All right, interesting. Now, of course, the judge also ruled yes.
How y'all feel about this? Another black man sitting in jail because he was horny. He ain't do nothing illegal. He just got a sexual appetite like we all do. But somehow he a criminal because he like to watch people get freaky. They ain't never catch him in the act. They ain't got no pictures of him in the bed. They convinced the world that there was freak-off tapes with Diddy beating on celebrities, climbing on top of celebrities just to get the prostitutes that he was trafficking and bringing them in by the busloads. Come to find out, it was some cokehead dudes that he found off of Craigslist. Matter of fact, he didn't even find them. Cassie found them dudes off of Craigslist, and she willingly spread her legs for a paycheck just so Diddy could watch for entertainment. With his Astroglide. What happened to all the baby oil? It was only one bottle they talked about in the courtroom, and he used that one bottle for about 6 months. And when he ran out of that, they just went dry. Until the next time he decided that he wanted to try some more baby oil. They tried to make it seem like he was obsessed with this stuff. Now it's looking like he about to be spending the rest of his life in jail. He already 50, 60 years old. He don't know how much longer he got. And most importantly, he don't know how much longer his mother got. I want y'all to pray for his family. And if you hate Diddy, fuck him. Just make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button too.